Christians. I spoke in a post and I said that a dispensation is an age. Dispensation means age or economy or era. To which this person here says, wrong. Ages are periods of time, but dispensations operate within ages. I have no idea what that's supposed to mean. I don't know what kind of ambiguous, that's just ridiculous. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Ages are periods of time, but dispensations operate within ages. Lady, I really need to get clarification on that because that's just nonsensical, gibberish. I don't know what that is. I don't think anyone knows what that is. I don't even think you know what that is. It is very clear what a dispensation is. It is an age. It is an era. It is an economy that has some administrative governances to it. What you're talking about makes no sense. You say, go and check out your comments. I saw your comments. You didn't say anything. You just put a few verses down there that put the word dispensation in it. I know that there are four times where that word is used, and none of it proves dispensationalism. None of those 4 verses talk about a tribulation, a 7-year tribulation. None of those talk about the Adamic age or the Noahic age or the Abrahamic age and so forth. None of them talk about the 1,000-year millennial kingdom that so many of you people think is happening way off in the future and that we're not in it right now, in spite of what Jesus said. None of those verses that you cited have anything to do with a rebuilt temple in Jerusalem and Jews going back there and 144,000 Jews during the tribulation period running around saving people in a different way than people are saved today. You don't know what you're talking about. And one of these days, you're going to find that out. I see you as my sister. So that's not the issue here. The issue here is objectively the truth that it is laid out in the scriptures. You don't know what you're talking about, and nor can you support anything you're trying to say. So what we end up doing is doing this dance where you're not going to show up and say and show any of this kind of stuff. There is no 7-year tribulation in the Bible. The Bible never says one word about a 7-year tribulation. Nowhere. Show me. Nowhere. Nowhere. For starters. And that right there is important because that's the one thing that's the centerpiece of the whole dispensational scheme in terms of eschatology. And yet you surmise through a whole bunch of dot connecting, but dots that aren't there, and you feel you've made a case, but you don't have one. You've been told that it's true. You've been told what it is, and you haven't sought it out for yourself. But yet you're going to tell everybody you did. So my thoughts on this matter are, show me. Show me where you see a 7-year tribulation in the Bible. And I will show you where the church has been undergoing tribulation ever since the ascension of Christ. Up to now, up until the time he returns. We, the Christian church, will go through tribulation. And when you tell people that the tribulation is going to be for 7 years, first of all, it's not even actually 7 years. Because even in your system of thinking, as a dispensationalist, if you really are one, then you will know that this tribulation only happens the second half of the tribulation. If you really understand the tribulation, the 7-year tribulation of the dispensational systematic theology, if you want to call it systematic, which is not, then you have to admit that the bad part only takes place in the second half. So 3.5 years, you're supposed to have more tribulation, devastation than there has been in the collective, so far, over 2,000 years of the Christian church on earth, where the Christians were burned at the stake, heads chopped off, set on fire, persecuted, hung, dragged, eaten by animals and lions and bears and whatever else that the Romans could think of. The Catholic Church in the Crusades in the Dark Ages, you're going to tell me that in a 3.5 year period, at some time in the future, when no Christians are going to be here whatsoever, that you found that in the Bible? It's not. It's not there, and you can't find it. And I will challenge any Christian who believes in dispensationalism to show me the 7-year tribulation in the Bible, because it is not there. And a lot of you are going to go, yes, it is there. What about Matthew? What about this, whatever? You will not see 7-year tribulation anywhere in the Bible. You only get that from a silly interpretation of a separation between Daniel's 69th week and the 70th week of his prophecy. And there is no warrant for breaking that up and saying that there's a parenthetical period called the church. Stephen in Acts 7 called the church under the Old Testament. He called it the church. How do you explain that? Anyway, I'll be waiting to hear something, because I'm sure there'll be a lot of pot shots coming back at me, but that's okay. That's what I hear. That's what I do. Deal with it. I will deal with it. Be provoked and be persuaded.